Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Today's hearings on H.R. 447, the National Apprenticeship Act of 2021, and a so-called emergency item, Concurrent Resolution 11, which is a budget resolution for fiscal year 2021. I hope my friends see the irony in labeling this budget an emergency item, seeing as we are bringing it to the floor more than 290 days or 9.5 months after Congress should have concluded action on this issue. On H.R. 447, if the subject seems familiar to our returning members, it's because we considered a nearly identical bill just 2.5 months ago. At the time, Republicans on the Education and Labor Committee and here on this committee indicated a desire to work with the majority to improve that product. We recommended the majority take into account employer-led innovation when considering the apprenticeship program for tomorrow. Unfortunately, the majority does not appear to have heeded this advice, and today's product is a mere recycling of H.R. 8294 from the 116th Congress. As such, I am disappointed by today's bill and will again oppose its passage. As I shared during our previous hearing on this topic, apprenticeships have an important role to play in building and training of the future workforce. They allow American workers to achieve success without the traditional burdens of student loan debt. Apprenticeships help hundreds of thousands of American workers realize the dream of a high-paying, skilled career. Republicans share the goal of reauthorizing the National Apprenticeship Act. We simply disagree on the means by which the Democrats are attempting to do so in this bill. Rather than modernizing the apprenticeship system and embracing employer-led innovation, Democrats are once again doubling down on the system as it is, not as it could be. I look forward to hearing from Ranking Member Fox on the innovative suggestions Republicans on the Education and Labor Committee have for improving this bill. And I look forward to hearing why this approach is better for American workers than the one before us today. Mr. Chairman, at the end of the day, Republicans and Democrats want the same thing: a robust apprenticeship program that supports educating American workers for new high-paying careers. Though we may object to this bill, at the end of the day, I think we agree on more than we disagree. There's a clear opportunity here for us to produce a better piece of legislation that reauthorizes this important program while modernizing it for the future. Now that the Education and Labor Committee has been formed and can organize, they should go to work on doing just that. I will turn now to our emergency item, Concurrent Resolution 11, which the majority describes as a budget resolution, but which really is best considered as a shell budget for the purposes of moving toward a budget reconciliation bill to pave the way for a partisan Democrat-only COVID-19 relief package. There are two key points that concern me about today's resolution. First and foremost, I'm very concerned that the product the majority is putting forward today has not been vetted by the Budget Committee. As a former member of that committee, I took the responsibility of drafting and writing a budget each year very seriously and look forward to both the hearings in that committee leading up to the preparation of the budget, as well as the budget markup hearing itself. Through that process, individual members were given the chance to read, review, digest, and make suggestions for improving the budget each year. At the markup, members could offer amendments and have their ideas considered by the full committee. But rather than doing so this year, the majorities instead rushed the budget to the Rules Committee and then to the floor, even before the Budget Committee itself has held a single meeting yet this Congress. This is hardly regular order and hardly the type of robust process this item deserves. Second, this process is clearly designed to push forward toward a solely partisan Democrat-only COVID-19 relief bill. Though the majority has claimed to want to work with Republicans on a bipartisan process for this relief bill, we've yet to see any such bipartisanship here in the House. In the last Congress, we were able to pass 5 COVID-19 relief packages totaling nearly $4 trillion. Not all of that money has yet been spent. Yet the majority is now moving forward with yet another package, this one destined to be partisan spending bill, embracing only the ideas of the majority in the House. What's worse, the reconciliation instructions included in this budget only specify dollar figures. They do not offer up any direction on the types of policies to be considered. As such, using this procedure, the majority could use this shell as a vehicle for any policy goal, not merely COVID-19 relief. Could it be used for Medicare for all or for the Green New Deal? There's nothing in today's measure barring the majority from using this shell for those purposes. Let's be clear about what the majority is doing here. Rather than heeding the call of President Biden to work with Republicans and embrace bipartisanship, the majority has abandoned the idea of working with Republicans just days into his administration. Instead, they're plunging ahead with this sham budget and the resulting reconciliation bill, heedless of any pretense of working with Republicans. This is hardly a good start to a new Congress, Mr. Chairman, and hardly the way to move this institution into a new era of bipartisanship. I strongly urge the majority to reconsider its course. There's still an opportunity to move forward in a bipartisan manner, just as President Biden said was his intention. And I hope the majority will take that chance. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back the balance of my time.